Last time I was at my local dollar store, I spotted these styrofoam pumpkins, and you will notice that they're a little bit shiny, and I want to paint these. So I'm going to come in with some Krylon primer spray paint, just white, and I'm going to give these a very light coat. This is just to take away the sheen and make my acrylic paint stick better to the styrofoam pumpkins. And then I took them back inside and I took some acrylic paint to cover these pumpkins. So the first shade here I just have is like an antique white shade. I'm going to paint that one just white, but then I want to do some different colors on the others. So I'm going to mix up my own custom color here, just using a bit of beige, some pink, and a little bit of orange to create that pastel peachy orange color. I did two other colors as well, a more lighter orange and then a nice sage green one for the top. I next came in with this pickling white wax from Dixie Belle, just in the indent lines. I rubbed this in here and then smoothed it out with a cloth just to give my pumpkins some definition and some realness to them. I also went over with a darker orange in the indent lines on some of the pumpkins just to give that more realistic definition look. So you can see here I'm just taking this straight orange and going right over and then wiping it back off again, and it's kind of rubbing this orange paint into the wax as well, and I thought this gave it a really realistic look. I'm going to take this dowel, which has a rounded side and a flat edge, and I'm going to poke it down through the pumpkin. Then I'm just going to begin poking on my other pumpkins as well, making sure to leave space at the end of the dowel and at the top. I poked my pumpkins on in different areas to give them that more staggered look. Then I'm going to take this rustic bucket that I had just kicking around my house. I'm going to weigh it down with a rock, put some paper in, and then I'm going to push a styrofoam ball in there, and I'm going to push the end of the dowel into the styrofoam ball, and this holds my pumpkins in the pail. Where the pumpkins meet the rim of the pail, I'm going to shove in some of this natural looking grass here, and then I'm also going to paint some of the stems of the pumpkins and stick them back in. And I'm going to decorate the tops of the pumpkins as well with just some faux greenery that I had picked up from the fall section from Dollar Tree. I also made a little sign here for the top. Now I made this sign myself with my laser engraving machine, but you can get tons of different cute fall signs from your local dollar store, Dollar Tree. There are lots of options out there if you don't have a sign making machine. I finished adding on all the touches of decor that I wanted to adorn my pumpkins, and this is the finished look here. This looks so cute on my porch, and I'm so happy with how it turned out, and it didn't cost me very much money at all. Just a few styrofoam pumpkins from the dollar store, some added greenery, and a beautiful fall display for my fall front porch that looks like it came from a high-end decor store.
I went to my local dollar store and I found this pumpkin garland, and we're going to transform this into something really pretty for my kitchen. To easily remove the string, all we have to do is just slightly lift the stem and pull the string right from underneath the pumpkin. Now I have a clear vase, and all I'm going to do is put this on top of my table. Now we can start arranging our little pumpkins in the container. So I want to make sure to see as much stem as possible, but I also don't want these to be too perfect. So all I'm going to do is just arrange them, one facing one way, one facing the other direction. So I just have some leftover greenery in a couple different shades that we're going to just work in. No need for foam, no need for any special gadgets. All we're going to do is just take that greenery and poke it. And then we also have this grass texture, and it also has that really unusual shade of orange. With these pumpkins being velvet, they're not a super harsh orange. And lastly, I found some of these miniature maple leaves. We don't want to work in anything too large. So we're going to work these in for some added texture. And these are also a little bit lighter, so they're going to really pop. And here is how it turned out. I absolutely love it. And all we used was a $3 garland from the dollar store, the little pumpkins. Everything else I had on hand, so feel free to use whatever you have as well. I absolutely love it. And as I mentioned before, endless possibilities.
Are you wondering what to do with dollar store pumpkins? Grab some raffia in fall colors. Run a bead of hot glue from the top of a pumpkin and down along the indentation on the side of the pumpkin. Take a piece of colored raffia ribbon and press it onto the bead line until it is secure. Apply the bead of glue up onto the opposite indentation on the other side of the pumpkin and press the raffia down to attach. Continue to glue raffia along the different indentations on the pumpkin until they have all been outlined by the raffia. Try using color combinations that highlight the outlining of the pumpkins. Brown raffia on a cream pumpkin and gold raffia on an orange pumpkin are just a couple of ideas. Once the pumpkin is outlined, you can push the pumpkin stem back in. Once you have wrapped your pumpkins, start to attach them to a grapevine wreath using a hot glue gun. Start with the larger pumpkin and anchor it to the bottom of the wreath. Attach a smaller pumpkin to the side of the larger. Take 2 lengths of wired ribbon in coordinating fall colors and patterns. With a small piece of jute rope, pinch the 2 ribbons in the middle and tie a knot with the rope. Grab a bunch of colored raffia and cut it in a length about half as long as the 2 ribbons. Last, tie the raffia bow to the grapevine wreath. Display your new wreath on a door for a festive fall welcome to your home.
I'm going to start with a 14-inch grapevine, and the first thing we're going to work in is some greenery. We're going to start with this brown foliage, and I love this because it has actual acorns on it, and it creates a really cool look for fall. To break them down, I'm going to separate each section. There's 3 sections per spray, and we're going to take our cutters. All of the supplies we're using today can be found at nicksseasonaldecor.com, so that we have individual pieces like that. After adding a little bit of hot glue to the end, we're going to simply work those right into the grapevine. And by adding hot glue, it makes it more secure. We're going to be designing all the way around. So when I design all the way around a grapevine, I like to make sure all of the products I work in are going in the same direction. I broke down 3 of these sprays, and that is the last one around the outside. I do have one more, and what we can do with this is just fill in wherever we need a little extra piece. Now we're going to work in some of this taupe colored asparagus fern, and I really love this color for fall. I think it's really pretty, and it kind of lightens up the home. So we're going to snip down 1 bush to start. I just dipped it in my hot glue, and we're going to poke it right into the grapevine. I also really like this foliage because it's adding something lightweight and airy to this design. And with fall, sometimes designs can get a little heavy looking. So working in something dainty like this fern, which has a lot of texture, kind of lightens the entire design. I also have a few of these fall colored berries left over from another project. If you have leftovers, this design is the perfect design to use them up because it doesn't require a whole lot. So that just added a little bit more color. Now I have some miniature styrofoam pumpkins, and I have a scrap floral stem, and I'm just going to add a little bit of hot glue to the back of it. So these are extremely lightweight, and they'll hold wherever we place them. So I'm just going to go throughout and work in a bunch of pumpkins and gourds. So again, a dollop of hot glue. We also have some gourds. Add some hot glue to those. So this design would last all fall, through Halloween, and through Thanksgiving. And one of my favorite things about this is that it's really natural looking. You could do the same thing with fresh greenery or dried greenery, and some real gourds and some real pumpkins. You can get them from the grocery store for a couple of dollars. I also have some of these cute little pumpkins, and we're just using all shapes, colors, and sizes. And I think the more variety you have, the better this design will look. Now we have this lantern I picked up from Walmart and some of my favorite artificial candles by Luminara. And I'm just going to take 2 candles and place it inside. These are battery and remote operated. Now we're going to place that lantern right in the middle, and a 14-inch grapevine is the perfect size for one of these larger lanterns, which only cost about $10 to $15. And here is how it looks, you guys. I absolutely love it, and I think it turned out so pretty. Very budget friendly, only cost us a handful of dollars, and we used some leftover pumpkins and berries from last year. With just the flick of a switch, we have these really pretty candles illuminating, and we don't have to worry about the fire. And I really love these candles too because they flicker. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Nick Creticos of Nick's Seasonal Decor, and you're watching me on Home Talk. See you in the next episode.